This is your daily briefing, and you are most welcome to it. Apologies for the lack of briefing yesterday, but I've got to be straight with you. I just didn't want to add to the noise. The quality of the transfer rumours were very poor, and I saw people making absolute mountains out of the molehill that was Moussa Sissoko joining Watford. Really inconsequential transfer. People couldn't even report the amount of money we got straight, and it just felt like it was better stepping back, so that was why. Remarkable stuff today for those of you who are into these sort of Opta type facts. For the first time in top flight history, Spurs at the very top of the Premier League table, Arsenal at the very foot of it. Whether this persists, we'll have to wait and see. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The game today, I say, if it was to get the most enjoyment out of it, you would have had to have gone. And by that, I mean that the whole point of you go to a football match is, for me, is how you feel at the end of it. And I'm not talking about this whole entitlement or being entertained or anything too deep, but it does give you a spring in your step as you're going up the high road if you've won. And if this had been a film, then you would have said of it, it would have just sort of kind of went on a bit too long. So Spurs made heavy weather of a Watford side, carrying far too many players that are just really they're not even journeymen. I mean, trades description tags should have some of them pulled up for actually calling themselves footballers. I mean, Josh King was a good example. We were linked with that character when he was at Bournemouth. I think a fee of about 10 or 11 million pounds was floated. I mean, he absolutely looks awful. Doesn't look like he's got a goal in him. Spurs are tighter at the back, but we still cannot cross a ball properly with any, decent volume of success. And it just feels like we're waiting to be damaged by a much better team. But you can't argue with, what cannot speak, cannot lie. Top of the table, clean sheets back to back. Happy days. That said, we host Chelsea on the 19th of next month. This wasn't a game for the purist. Let's go through the players, and I've got some kind of snapshot reactions for your consideration. Hugo had one spillage and only had 2 saves to make. Wasn't really threatened. They tried to get him at the end, but like the business with when we played Wolves, Watford don't have the technical, I was going to say clarity, but the technical wherewithal in any of their players to get one over on somebody. And it always felt as if they were going to equalise, the ball would be somehow sort of bundled in. Reggie had a tough day. Sarr gave him a rough time. His crossing wasn't great. Made 3, 1 was successful. 2 long balls, both unsuccessful. Dier and Davinson Sanchez combined have achieved the unthinkable. 280 minutes without conceding a goal. Bravo, boys. Dier managed a passing accuracy that was rock solid and only lost possession a handful of times. Sanchez won the bulk of his duels on the floor and in the air, and again, very solid passing accuracy. Japhet Tanganga didn't have a great day. Real mixed bag, lost the ball too frequently, and his crosses were more erratic than those of Serge Aurier's. Lots of involvement, but not much in terms of achievement. Pierre Højbjerg was in the thick of it. 100 touches, plenty of longer passing, key pass, thunderous shot on target, and additionally, he dribbled well and enjoyed 100% success rate in that discipline. Skip's passing was on point. Another daft yellow picked up by poor refereeing. Bergwijn, I like the kid. I really do. I think he comes from a good family. I think he's a decent guy. But another awkward and ultimately unsatisfying performance. And sadly, those are beginning to rack up, and you just can't argue with when they start to, I like the kid. I'm not enjoying his football. I don't think he is at Tottenham right now. And an unkind person might have suggested this afternoon he would have felt more comfortable in a Watford shirt. Dele Alli, a rather nothingy showing today, with no key passes, no assists, no shots on target, and essentially nothing to write home about. I will add this, he does look to be trying harder. I have no time for apologists and this bending over backwards to try and put a good spin on players, but it would be deeply unfair of me. I've ridden the guy pretty hard over the last couple of years. He's not been good enough. He's been distracted, he's lost his way, whatever, but I cannot deny he's giving it a go. And that's all you can ask of somebody. Whatever their ability level is, they give you their very best. And I think he's really trying. And on that basis, I give him more time. Sonny, an exceptional goal that fooled everyone, perhaps including himself. Some nice dribbling, 2 key passes, but 10 crosses, of which only 2 found a man in a Tottenham shirt. And this was the South Korean's 200th appearance for Spurs, so great to see him getting a win. Harry Kane, dull as ditch water. 2 key passes according to the stats, but a game that he really never got into. And Lucas Moura was a little joy of sunshine at the end there. We only got 22 minutes, but he looked far more interesting than Dele and Bergwijn combined. And Brian Heel made his Premier League debut, which sadly consisted of 2 minutes and 0 contact with the ball. Looking at what's going on in the press, Tottenham, according to The Sun, have a transfer blow as Barcelona wonder kid Ilaix Moriba agrees to join Red Bull Leipzig on a 5-year deal next summer. I did tip you off that it was doing the rounds 2 days ago, and everybody was saying, oh yeah, Tottenham are in for another wonder kid. Oh, this is going to be great, going to be amazing. I did warn you, and I managed to pull the only tweet account out from somebody who looked really credible, who said to me this was all smoke and mirrors, and he was probably going to the Bundesliga. Excuse me. Daily Mail, and one of many here, Tottenham in talks with cash-strapped Barcelona over a deal for Emerson Royal, even though they signed him for 7 million just 2 months ago. And all of these clubs, and we might be seeing more of this in the future, but all of these clubs, and if you want an easy way to construct the list, just jot down all of the teams involved in the European Super League. They're all up to their absolute knickers in debt. Spurs are in talks with Barca for the right back. The Brazilian joined the Catalan 2 months ago, 7 million quid, and Barcelona have rejected Spurs' offer of some cash and Serge Aurier in the transfer. And there's trouble brewing, and this doesn't sit well with me, I have to say, because I'm a very simple chap. I like my footballers to sign for you and then play for you and give us their utmost. And sources close to the Argentinian FA have told the Mail on Sunday they are confident that Tottenham duo Giovanni Lo Celso and Christian Romero will also join up with a number of other dissenting Argentinians for World Cup qualifiers against Venezuela, Brazil and Bolivia. Tottenham would not confirm on Saturday night whether our 2 Argentinians would also travel, and insisted that the stance in the Premier League statement still applied to the club and to them. If they were to travel, they would miss a trip to Crystal Palace before taking on Chelsea at home. They would also be absent for the Carabao Cup game against Wolves and at least the opening Europa Conference League group match against French side Rennes. I think neither of them have done well enough since they've got here. My sympathy runs only so far, and if you can't make it, this to me, I know it's important to some people, but this to me is like they've got a golf match lined up. World Cup qualifiers, yeah, but at our convenience, and only if you're in a position whereby you say, yeah, sure, you've been really putting your heart into it of late, and we're happy enough for you to go. That's it. So we're top of the table. There's a little bit of an interlull break, but I will be covering anything interesting that happens during that. And I'll leave you with this shot of the match from a player that you may recognise. Good luck. Keep it Tottenham.
Beautifully done. Is there a ball at the end of it? Sissoko.